Yeah, I think you're first. Let me know if that's too loud or anything, or if you can even hear me. Let's see, this should help. Yes? Does this make it quieter or what? How about that then? Actually, I know what'll help if I take it out of... There we go. That should help some. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to be working on making some custom brushes because the webcomic I'm working on will have a lot of leaves in it and pine needles, and I don't want to give myself carpal tunnel syndrome just drawing the background. So I'm going to try and make some brushes for it. And I did make some brushes before, but they kind of really sucked. So I'm gonna make background. Here, I'm gonna move this over so I can see what you're typing better. There we go. Nope. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I've had a bit of practice making custom brushes before. Not as much as I would like, but this is all going towards experience, so. And I have some reference pictures open of pine needles. There we go. Because that's what I'm making it for. Okay. Yeah, thankfully they're pretty simple. I'm just doing quick tests. You could actually see these are my latest attempts at making leaf brushes, but I don't really like them and they could definitely be improved, so I'm still working on things and making them not suck so bad. And I'm using the same pen that I would use normally, like for inking my comic, because I don't want the brush to look out of place. I think I'm going to ink it in black. This will help me see it better. So what I want this brush to be is, it's kind of hard to explain. The first brush I made for pine needles worked okay, but it was really fuzzy because I didn't use the right hardness in the pen that I was using to draw it. So it made it super blurry and weird. So what I did was, okay, I think I should explain first by how Clip Studio brushes work, at least so far as I understand them, is that you can make a brush and you'd want to set it on, oh yeah, that's fine. So you want to set it on expression color gray over here, because otherwise it'll just stay the same color as whatever you draw it in. So like if I put it on color expression, the layer, and I drew it with this green, then every time I went to use it in another, like as a brush, it would always be green. But sometimes it would be black. It's weird and it doesn't do the way I want it to. So you have to put it on black and white, and that, or gray, I guess is the color expression that it's called. And that way it will actually be the color that you select it to be, instead of just always being the color you originally drew it in. So yeah, so that's what I did first, is I drew it in black. At least I had figured that part out, but I had just drawn like a bunch of pine needles, like kind of like that. But the brush I used wasn't correct and it was too textured, I guess. Even though I kind of like the texture, what I did is just black. Instead of this is going to be white with black outlines, it was just black. So when I went and I would do the color, so when I went to use it as a brush, since it was gray, and I would just pick, I don't know, like a green to use, and then I would stamp it on, and it like looked kind of nice, it looked okay, but it didn't have, like, it was just straight up green and it didn't have that outline that I would want it to have. So I had to figure out how to line it, and what I did was I used the stroke effect to do the outline for it. But since I did that, that outline, the stroke effect, border effect, it gets kind of blurry, and especially when you have a bunch of little things, it just didn't turn out good, and I actually really hated it. So what I'm doing now is trying to make it not so that I hate it. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it'll be super small actually. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually don't want it to look like this because I'm going to be lining the branches by hand and coloring those in. So actually I want to delete all of this because I'm going to just draw the needles. And this is where it gets hard though, it's because pine needles are basically just really thin things. And also for the kind of brush I'm making, I'm going to have to do several variations of this. So I'm basically just drawing a lot of pine needles. And this is what I get for setting my comic in a pine forest. Okay, so I think this will be the main one. Yeah, I love drawing forests, but I'm not looking forward to, one, the time it would take just to draw a forest that people aren't going to look a lot at, and two, I don't want to give myself carpal tunnel. I'm only 22. And drawing pine needles especially. I'll just title this custom set. That way I can just keep opening this file every time I want to make custom brushes. No. Okay. No, this brush is kind of nothing. It's just going to be basically a particle scatter brush with the particles looking like this, more or less. Okay, so now what I got to do, this is just round one. So I have to put this back on grayscale. I cannot tell you how many times I've forgotten to put layers on grayscale, and it has screwed me over, which is why I have like in the custom tag on here, you can see all of these, actually all of the materials. I have actually a lot more custom stuff too down there that has just kind of disappeared. Or maybe I didn't tag it as custom. I don't even remember. But yeah, it did not want to do what I wanted it to do because it was not in the right expression. Anyway, so now I go to edit, I think. Edit register material as image. And then I click use for brush tip shape. I'm going to name it, I've already done like pine numbers, so I'm going to name it P1 just for brevity's sake. I'm going to be making a lot of these. So I wanted that, and I want it in all materials, download. I need to make just a custom folder for my own stuff, but I haven't gotten to it yet. And then I'm going to add the tag custom and also the tag Pine 1. Please remind me to always add this Pine 1 tag to the rest of the bits that I'm going to be making for this brush. Because this is basically facet 1 of this brush. That's probably going to need like at least 3, maybe 4 of these. And then a lot of fiddling to get it done. And then I'm going to test how it actually works. So not only will you see me making the brush, you'll be seeing me test out the brush. So that's number 1, and I can test this. There we go. It works. Okay. And then, so now I need to make another one of these. I think I'm going to make it slightly smaller. Come on. So I'm going to set it there. Put this on grayscale. Actually, since I'm going to be doing the same thing as before, I can just leave it as color right now, because that's not going to matter. Make some more pine needles. It's okay if they're not all exactly the same because these are plants, and that's why I'm making a hand brush instead of just finding one on Clip Studio, which actually Clip Studio doesn't have. I've searched. They have a lot of regular leaf brushes, but not any pine needle ones. So I'll probably be putting this on Clip Studio later. That pine needle is way too fat. Or I could make it bigger and just shrink it down later. That works. Okay, I'm going to close this because that's distracting. And this isn't the best line work that I've ever done, but since this will be actually pretty small, I don't think you'll ever see the brush this close, and it doesn't matter. It's really just more like you can tell that it's a handmade brush instead of something that was like, it doesn't look too smooth or computer made. You can tell it was made by hand. That's really all I want. Wow, that just looks bad. I'm gonna be doing just the one. All I'm really going to do are color variations on it. Oh, I need to really make this thinner. All I'm really going to do in the comic for different variations is just maybe play up how closely together the bunches of needles are, and that's about it. Um, okay, that works. Now we put it on gray, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Oh, I should also do one for pine cones, but I think there's actually already a brush for that, and I can just use that one, depending on how it fits. If not, I might just edit the brush and draw my own pine cones and edit in that way. Why is this taking so long to save? I don't know why. Well, we just gotta wait for my pinwheel of death to stop. Oh, and I can close this out. I don't need this. Come on. Whoops, unplugged my tablet. There we go. It doesn't take that. This is a tiny file. I don't understand why it's taking so long to write it. I should probably clean off my desktop, honestly. Okay, so now register material, image. Okay. Not caring for this one. Oh my gosh, why are you taking so long? Woof. This is taking forever. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to call this P2. use for brush tip. Download material. Add the custom tag. Add pine 1. Was that the, yeah, pine 1. Okay. Yeah, this is Mac, and it is getting kind of full, actually. It works pretty well 95% of the time, but when it starts to get full, it slows down. So I need to actually clear that out later today. And I should write that down somewhere so I don't forget it. Hold on just a second while I write down a note for myself about clearing off my computer. Okay, I will do that probably before I go to bed tonight. It doesn't take super long, but it always takes longer than I expect it to. Okay, so that's number 2. And I'm going to go ahead and do 4 because that gives me more, it doesn't take super long and it gives me more options. Making brushes isn't always super glamorous, but it is kind of fun to be able to have a brush like this one that'll make my life easier for my comic, or just to be able to say, yeah, I made all the brushes in this myself, or someone else made all of the custom brushes. In fact, this folder of brushes is all full of both my and other people's custom brushes. So that's fun. Okay, and now I'm going to do just a smaller, well, I say smaller, but it's not actually going to be that much smaller. Just fewer pine needles. Oh, cool. Flip the canvas, make this curve a little bit easier to draw. Okay, that should be good for this one. The making of the brush isn't always too hard and usually goes pretty fast, but it's the tweaking part that takes forever, or at least way longer than I always want it to. Yeah, this needs to be a little bit smaller. Okay. This on, oh, no. Gray. Register material. And I'm going to get another pinwheel. And I need to figure out if there's a way to clean up old materials that I'm never going to use again because they suck. Because if there is, I need to figure out a way to clear out all of those 30 old materials that are bad and I won't ever use them again. Because I'm sure they're just taking up space on my computer. Okay, so this is B3, used for brush tip shape. I have to say this out loud, otherwise I'm going to forget an important step. Material, custom tag, and the Pine 1 tag. Okay. And then the last brush tip and this one will only have a few needles. Wow, yeah, my computer is really slowing down. I'm sure the streaming doesn't help. So like, feel free to ask any questions because it's kind of boring to just be drawing pine needles. And I do not mind answering questions. Almost a year and a half. Actually, even before then. So I started thinking about making this story during my junior year, or was it the end of my sophomore year? Winter of 2017. That's when I started working on it. So yeah, almost a year and a half, I think. Time is really weird for me to figure out, actually. I think a year and a half, and I have only started thinking about making it a comic for the past 8 months or so. No, I don't even know what loblolly trees are. So I think it's safe to say I did not know that. Okay, so now that I have the 4 materials for this brush, next comes making the brush once this material gets registered. And for that, well, gotta wait till I can register it and then I can talk about that. Man, I really need to clean up my computer. Cool. Okay, so this is P4. Use for brush tip shape. Let's save it to material. Add the custom tag and add the pine 1 tag. Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay. So that's registered. Okay. Yeah, so now I'm going to make the brush. My custom tag. Yeah, I still don't know what's up with that. I actually like Photoshop a lot too, but I don't have enough room on this computer to use Photoshop. And yeah, so when you register a material, it only looks at that layer. It doesn't look at the entire image, which is nice because it lets me keep all of them on different layers so I can compare them. Okay, so now the fun part is I'm gonna take this old, see this was my first one. I'm gonna make a new layer so you can see it. This was my first pine needle brush. And it was just black, so it would change to be whatever color I wanted. And it kind of looked like that, which is like, not great. Yeah, it just doesn't look good at all. It might work for something that's not pine needles, like if you just wanted a spiky brush, but I don't think it works as pine needles. So I'm gonna dismantle it, and I'm gonna go to settings, brush tip, change this one. Come on. Okay, it doesn't want to do this, so I guess we'll just do, there we go. So I want to replace it, this one, and I want to replace, wow, it is being really slow about this. I think my computer just doesn't like streaming right now, that's all. But having it be so clumped up full of files can't help either. Come on. Wow, the searching just does not work. That's great. But yeah, I like Photoshop. I think it works pretty well. I like all the things that it can do. But Clip Studio, specifically EX with its story file capabilities and all of that. It's got a lot of things specifically for making comics, and that's something I really want to do. So it works pretty well, and good grief, this thing is not, it's going so slow. There we go, line 2. Change number 3. It's having a rough time. Maybe if I just go to custom. Maybe not. Just leave it for a second and that should help. But yeah, and Clip Studio is pretty good because there's a lot of other people who make brushes, and I've used a lot of them. I'm using a lot of them. In fact, my 2 go-to brushes for inking and watercolor are both ones made by other people. And this one. So there's that. Yeah, because you can see down here where it says Clip Studio. That's basically an online forum where people upload and download custom brushes and materials and stuff like that. So it's fun, and I like that there's that, and most of them are free. Like 90% of them are for free. Some of them you have to like pay gold for, which is the Clip Studio I forgot the word. Clip doesn't do quite the same thing without rulers. You can draw straight lines, but it's in any direction, not just perpendicular ones, which is kind of annoying because you go from Photoshop where you want to hold it down. But it is, again, easily fixed if you want to do straight lines like that. Or you can just be very careful and you can get straight or almost straight lines. Delete that. Okay, so now this is what I would get right now. But if I select it like this, okay. See, this is where the fun part comes in because I'm trying to figure out how to do all the different things. Okay, so I want to change thickness to where it's closer to this. And see, you can see it's a giant mess right here. So it's the fun part. Oh. Come on, computer. Oh, it does not understand what I'm doing right now. It is freaking out. Okay. Okay, good. So the fun part. I want thickness, and I want full brush density. I want don't want to mix the gradient color. There we go. Okay, I want it to be see, it kind of looks like a mess right now. Spraying effect. Lower the particle density. Lower spray deviation. Particle size, make that, want that to be there. Kind of looks like tufts of grass right now. Okay. Particle size. Why does it only show 2 of them? That's so weird. But anyway, I want it to be kind of big. That kind of works. There. I want them to be very similar in size so that it doesn't look too weird. Lowest particle density, that way I can layer if I want to. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's good. Stroke. I want there to be a gap. Like that. No texture, no border watercolor. Okay, that should be good. That should be good setting. So now for the fun part, I set the first one to black and this one to this, and then select black again. The brush size be here. See, I want it to not flip around. Okay. Let's go back to this. Ink. I don't need to see this, don't need to see that. Anti-aliasing. That's nice. I want it to be sharper. Yeah, I want it here. Brush tip. I want this. Hardness. Nope, doesn't affect that. Vertical. No. I'm not quite sure what this does actually. I'm not sure it does anything. Just says the direction of the brush tip. Okay. Yeah, that. See, I want them to all go in a similar direction. Actually, you know what? This is fine. This is fine. Okay. Texture. Should go back to brush shape or brush tip and see if there's anything more I can do. Oh, actually, I want to go back to stroke. There we go. Okay, let's see how this works now. That's pretty good. I don't know which square you're referring to. Okay, so I'm going to test this out by inking a quick tree. First, I'm going to change this to, I don't know, just a lighter color so it doesn't get in the way. ink a quick tree, and well, we'll just do a branch because it's not going to be along the whole tree. Yeah, I'm having fun in the fact that I'm getting this done. And it's very satisfying to be able to see the finished project. Especially since this pine tree problem has been bothering me for about as long as I've been wanting to draw a comic, so. This works for now for my tree, my quick branch. Okay, and now I'm going to do another layer so I can do my tree branches, or my needles, I guess. Yeah, that doesn't look good. I need to make the brush size smaller and keep the particle size the same, so I have more control over it. That's working pretty well. I just have to undo a couple times if the pine needles aren't going the way I want them to. But I can handle that. Yeah, this is already looking so much better than my last brush. And it took, I don't know, roughly the same time to create it. So this is making me pretty happy. Yeah, I like this. I'm happy I made this. And the good thing is, since I made it with both black and white, if I wanted to, I could just change to this and it, maybe you can't see that. If I do this, then it only does the one color, and if I select the black, then it does both colors. And if I select, yeah, that's what I mean. So if I wanted to, I could just do the silhouettes of it. Yeah, the only way to improve this brush that I could think of would be to control which direction it goes in, but I can't figure out how to make it go a limited direction each time. Instead of it just kind of goes wildly in every way. I want to figure out how to make it not do that, but I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe that's spraying effect. Yeah, that is spraying effect actually. That would mean every time I wanted to change direction, I would have to do this. So, spray deviation. If I set it to this, is that technically more or less? I should play with this some more. It's like the same amount of deviation. Actually, it seems like it might be less. Okay, I'm going to delete this so I can play around with this more. Yeah, that's what I'm gotta figure out. This is the needling part of it. That would be brush tip. Oh, here we go. Direction of pen. So let's see how that would work. Nope, way too far. I need to get the gap spread out. That's where particle density. I wish I had particle density and direction of pen. Maybe I do actually. Let's go back to this. And direction of line maybe? Oh, here we go. Random, and then I want, this is where gap comes in. Gap, I want the gap to be pretty big so that I control it pretty easily. See, there's still some random in there. Okay, let's go back to this direction, line, direction of pen, I guess. There, okay. Let's see how this works. Okay, actually I'm gonna close this out so you can see it. Brush size bigger. Not that big. See, I'm glad I streamed it because you reminded me that I could change it to be direction of brush. But actually, I don't want it to be direction of pen because that seems to keep it stuck on this angle. I want it to be direction of line. Okay, let's try this out. That way goes there. That way goes like that. Okay. And that would mean if I go, yes, I want it like this, actually. Ooh, maybe I'll make a duplicate of this that does. Brush size, pen pressure, minimum. Here. Come on, pen. Come on, computer, you can do it. Yeah, I want to do that. There are some really nice Photoshop watercolor brushes that I want to see if I can get similar ones. I have some decent watercolor brushes right now, but Photoshop just has some really nice edges to it that I want to see if I can mimic. But I'm pretty sure that's like above my my mastery of Clipping Studio. That's above my level. Okay. Computer. Oh, jeez, why did you move my... No wonder it took forever. It made my brush size so big. Yeah, it is pretty hard, which is why I had Clip Studio for, I don't know, 6 years before I even tried making my own brushes. And even then, like, I haven't even gotten remotely good at it until recently. And that's because I messed up so much before. So, but yeah, thanks for the suggestion to have it follow the direction of my brush or of my stroke, because that is exactly what I needed. Yeah, I really like this. It was so good. Okay, good. So that works out. Now, while we're at it, I'm gonna just go ahead and try out my other brush that I downloaded. If this will work for me. And I have to eat soon. I'm starving. So after I try out this next brush, I'll probably end the stream because I have a lot of work to do. And my computer does not like streaming right now, apparently. But I am way happier with this brush than my old one. Good grief, computer. Half of the stream is just watching this. I might make curry because I have the time, and curry takes a long time. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And then I can make curry onigiri or just leftover curry. Yeah, I think that's what I should do. I don't want my vegetables to go bad or my chicken. My computer is still going. Kill me. Yeah, I seriously have to clean this thing out so it doesn't keep doing this. I swear half of this stream is just you guys watching this pinwheel of death as my computer decides what it's going to do. Well, while it's doing that, I'm going to stretch my legs out. So, my comic is, the summary is, I wrote it way better in my summary than I could ever say out loud. It's about Aggie. She is this high schooler who has moved in with her dad into her grandparents' old lake house. And things get weird. And it turns out there is magic in the woods. And she has to figure out what's going on. And that's the gist of it. There's a merman. There is magic in general. There is some angst and a little bit of drama. Actually, a lot bit of drama. And it's all about Aggie coming of age. And also there's a merman. So that's the basic gist of it. There's a finite story. I mean, he's in a lake in the woods. But yes. No. This is the only characters in it. There's only like 5 or 6 characters. Oh my goodness. This thing cannot decide what it wants to do. Ah, finally. Okay. Delete this. No. This is a finite story. There are obviously stakes, but they are not the world is ending stakes. It is all about Aggie and her relationships to these people around her, not Aggie saves the world. Because it turns out I'm not very good at writing those types of stories. Very few people actually are. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to try out this brush, I think. No, not this brush. Actually, maybe I haven't scooted it over to brushes yet. Let's see. Come on, show me what I downloaded. I have a lot of things I downloaded. Is this the first thing I downloaded or the last? Doesn't help that they're all in Japanese. And it's not showing me any of them. That's cool. Yeah, awesome. Okay, I think I'm just gonna end the stream because it doesn't want to show me the stuff that I downloaded. It's somewhere in there. If I opened up Clip Studio, I could probably see what it was that I downloaded. Oh, and it's taking a little while, but it is showing me things now. And then deciding to quit. Because of course it is. And it won't let me do anything until it ends. There we go. Show me the stuff. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Down, 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 down. And load the stuff underneath this, please. There is a leaf brush that I downloaded the other day. Now, I swore I got rid of those songs off my streaming playlist. Yeah, I downloaded another leaf brush, but this one for like normal leaves. And it's somewhere in here. I need to find it. Maybe it's up here. No, it's down here. I downloaded like 12 things last week. So I'm waiting for them all to... Oh, more dust. Well, we're going to have a little bit to wait while this loads. Because, of course. And while we do this, I'm going to drink my water. Because I am a constantly dehydrated person. Come on, load. Here's one brush. Downloaded a bunch. It's New England. It's southern New York. Wow, there is so much that I downloaded here. Oh, no, it's probably in Japanese. You know what? I'll test this later when my computer actually decides it wants to be here. Okay, and I'll just save this for my future custom brush making stuff so I don't have to keep making and saving new things to it. Oh, and I do have other things to do today. I have to move my plant to a bigger pot because it is getting too big. So I need to find where that bigger pot is, do that. I also need to have dinner. I need to mount my pieces that are due for critique tomorrow morning. I need to start my laundry. Yeah, I have a lot to do. Okay, so I'm going to call this the end of the stream. It's been long enough, right? Well, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have like any other questions about making materials or brushes in Clip Studio. I'm not like the be-all end-all master of this, obviously, but I can give some pointers for people who are just beginning, and I can try my best to answer any questions. These brushes will probably be on my Gumroad, at least this one. I only made one. I already have some custom brushes on my Gumroad. Yeah. See you later. Thanks for coming.